The Bennet family was known in the city for their wealth and status. Mr. Charles Bennet was one of the most successful businessmen in town, and his wife, Madam Stella Bennet, was a classy woman who owned fashion shops across the state. Their only daughter, Diana, was the pride of their eyes. Beautiful, brilliant, and well-mannered, she had just finished university and returned home with big dreams. On a quiet Sunday afternoon, Diana called her parents into the living room. "Mom, Dad," she began softly, "there's someone I want you to meet. He's very special to me, and I want to marry him." Her mother raised a curious brow. "Who is he?" Diana smiled slightly. "His name is Joseph. He's very intelligent, humble, and strong. He's everything I've ever wanted in a man." Her father's eyes narrowed. "Where is he from? What's his background?" "He's an orphan," Diana replied, "but he's a graduate, a medical doctor. He finished school 5 years ago. Because he hasn't gotten a hospital job yet, he decided to become a farmer in the meantime." Her mother looked confused. Wait, a doctor that became a farmer?" "Yes, Mom," Diana nodded. "He didn't want to sit at home doing nothing, so he started planting vegetables and yams on a small piece of land behind his rented apartment. He sells them at the market and to restaurants. He's hard-working." Mr. Bennet frowned. "And that's the man you want to bring into this house?" "Yes, Dad," Diana replied firmly. "We met at a local restaurant. I was having lunch with friends, and he came in with a basket of fresh vegetables. He supplies food items there. He was polite, gentle, and well-spoken. I was impressed." Her mother sighed deeply. "So, because he speaks well and looks gentle, you want to marry a man who has nothing to offer?" "He has plenty to offer, Mom," Diana said. "He has dreams, vision, and he treats me like a queen. I've never felt this happy with anyone." Mr. Bennet scoffed. "A doctor without a job becomes a farmer and wants to marry my daughter? What an insult!" "He didn't beg me to love him," Diana replied. "I chose him because I see his worth. You always taught me to look for a good man with values, not just money." Mr. Bennet turned sharply. "Values without money are useless. You think love alone pays bills? Do you know how many rich men have asked for your hand? And you chose this poor farmer." "He's not just a farmer," Diana said. "He's a trained medical doctor doing his best. He didn't choose poverty, he chose dignity." Madam Stella shook her head. "What kind of family does he come from?" "He has no one," Diana answered. "He lost his parents in a car accident when he was 16. He worked his way through school with scholarships and farming. He has no uncles or aunties, just him. So if you marry him, there's no bride price, no elders, no proper family introduction." Her father asked angrily, "Is that what you want?" "I want a man who loves and respects me," Diana said. "And that man is Joseph." Mr. Bennet slammed his palm on the table. "Listen to me carefully, Diana. If you continue this madness, you are no longer my daughter. I mean it. If you marry that poor nobody, forget this family forever." Madam Stella gasped. "Charles, don't say that. She's our only child. Then she should listen." Mr. Bennet shouted, "This is our legacy. I will not sit and watch my daughter throw her life away because of some hungry farmer with a medical certificate." Diana stood up, her eyes now wet with tears. "I won't change my mind. I'd rather live poor with a man who loves me than rich and miserable with a stranger." "You're not serious," her father said, shaking his head. "If you step out of this house and follow that man, don't ever come back." "Then I'm leaving," Diana said. "Joseph didn't force me. I chose him with my full heart." Madam Stella held her daughter's hand. "Please think carefully, Diana. Marriage is not easy. Love doesn't pay rent." Diana looked at her mother, then at her father. "If I come back begging, then you were right. But I won't live with regrets. I choose Joseph." She turned around, walked out of the living room, and went straight to her room. Within minutes, she packed 2 bags, took her phone, and walked out of the mansion she had called home for 24 years. Outside the gate, Joseph was waiting in an old blue car. When he saw her with her bags, his eyes widened. He stepped out and rushed to help her. "What happened?" he asked. "Did they say yes?" Diana shook her head, wiping her tears. They said if I marry you, I'm no longer their daughter. Joseph looked heartbroken. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. Diana touched his face gently. You didn't do anything wrong. I made my choice. They got into the car, and Joseph drove them to his small one-room apartment at the edge of town. It was nothing like her father's mansion, but the room was clean, simple, and peaceful. I know this place is small, Joseph said, but it's all I have now. I promise I'll work hard and give you a better life. Diana smiled. I'm not here for riches. I'm here for you. 1 week had passed since Diana left her parents' mansion. One sunny afternoon, as Diana sat on a plastic chair outside, a loud voice interrupted the quiet air. Ah, fine girl. So, this is where you've been hiding. Diana looked up and saw a woman in her mid-30s. Good afternoon, Diana greeted politely. The woman walked closer, looking Diana up and down. You're that rich girl, right? The one that ran from her mansion to stay with that poor, ugly farmer. Diana didn't reply. God forbid, the woman continued. You're fine like this, yet you chose to waste your life with this nobody. What a shame. Diana frowned. Excuse me. I said it's a shame, the woman repeated loudly. You're too pretty to be suffering in this gutter. You should be in the city, living in luxury, driving a big car, not roasting here with a man who can't even buy you ordinary perfume. Madam, Diana said calmly, please mind your business. The woman laughed wickedly. Me? Mind my business? I'm only trying to help. If you want, I can introduce you to one of my big men in town. They're rich, clean, and they know how to treat women well. Not this jobless-looking boy you call a husband. Diana stood up slowly, her face serious. I will only say this once. Never come here again, and never open your mouth to speak badly about my man. Do you understand me? The woman looked surprised. You're defending him? Yes, Diana replied. He may be poor now, but he's rich in love, rich in character, and rich in dignity. That's more than you or your so-called big men have. The woman hissed. Continue deceiving yourself. You and your poor farmer will remain poor forever. Don't say I didn't offer help. She turned and walked away. Diana sat back down, her heart beating fast. She wasn't angry because of the insult. She was hurt because it reminded her of everything she gave up. She wiped her eyes and went inside. That evening, Joseph returned from the farm with a sack of fresh yams. You won't believe how much I sold tomatoes today, he said cheerfully. Things are picking up slowly. Diana forced a smile. I'm proud of you. Joseph noticed the sadness in her voice. What happened? She shook her head. Nothing serious. Just one noisy neighbor trying to make me feel bad. Joseph dropped the sack. What did she say? She called you ugly and poor. She said I'm too beautiful to be here and that we'll remain poor forever. Joseph smiled sadly. Do you believe her? No, Diana said quickly. But it still hurts. Joseph took her hands. Diana, I may not have the world to offer you now, but I swear I'll work day and night until we lack nothing. You trusted me when no one else did. I won't let you down. Diana hugged him tightly. We'll make it together. At the Bennet mansion, things were no longer peaceful. Since Diana left, Madame Stella had been restless. Every night she sat by the window, staring out, hoping her daughter would walk through the gate. Mr. Bennet, on the other hand, pretended everything was fine. He buried himself in meetings and business trips, but deep down, he was ashamed of how things turned out. One hot afternoon, Madame Stella sat alone in the living room. The house was unusually quiet. Mr. Bennet was at work, and all the maids were in the kitchen. Suddenly, the loud noise of a car skidding to a stop outside broke the silence. Before she could stand up, the front door burst open. Jack stormed into the house, his face red with anger. He was a tall, well-dressed man in his early 30s, the son of a powerful senator. His father was the governor's right-hand man, and his mother was a wealthy oil magnate. Everyone in town feared the family. Jack was used to getting everything he wanted, and what he wanted now was Diana. Madame Stella stood up, surprised. Jack, what is the meaning of this? Why didn't you call before coming? Jack's eyes were wild as he pointed at her. Don't play games with me, Madam Stella. I came here for answers. What are you talking about? She asked, confused. I'm talking about your daughter, Diana. What am I hearing all over town? Is it true she ran off with a poor farmer? Tell me it's not true. Madam Stella swallowed hard. Please calm down, Jack. Sit down. Let's talk. Jack refused to sit. Your husband promised me Diana. He assured me that she was mine. I have waited patiently. I have given you people money, connections, favors, and respect. Now you want to tell me she has gone to marry a jobless orphan. It wasn't planned, Madam Stella said. She left without our consent. I don't care. Jack shouted. You people lied to me. You made me believe she would be my wife. I've told my family, my friends. I built my plans around her. Now you're telling me she's gone. Madam Stella frowned. Please, Jack. Shouting won't solve anything. Diana is a grown woman. She made her choice. We tried to stop her, but she left. Jack's face twisted with rage. Tell your desperate husband to bring back my wife. I'm not joking. If he doesn't return her to me, I swear I will deal with both of you. You know who my parents are. You know how powerful we are. You think this is a joke? She sighed. Please listen to me. Diana didn't choose wealth. She chose that boy. We begged her. We threatened her. She refused. There's nothing we can do. Jack pointed at her again. I have given your husband so much money. Do you think I'm a fool? All the deals, the contracts, the cash transfers. Was that for nothing? You people used me. We didn't use you, Madam Stella said. Charles was only trying to build a good relationship with you. We never expected Diana to act the way she did. Jack laughed bitterly. So, this is what I get after everything? My name dragged through the mud. Me, Jack. You think I'll just let this go? She held her chest. Please don't do anything dangerous. Let's handle this with peace. He leaned closer to her, his eyes dark. I don't want peace. I want my wife. I want Diana back in this house. You better find a way to bring her home, because if you don't, your family will see fire. With that, Jack stormed out of the house and slammed the door behind him. The next day, the small local restaurant was half full that afternoon. Joseph sat at a table near the window, eating quietly. He had just come from the farm. He was thinking about buying new feed for the chickens and expanding the tomato section when a familiar voice cut through the noise. So it's true, the voice said coldly. Somebody told me you were here. That's why I came. Joseph looked up slowly. It was Mr. Charles Bennet, Diana's father, anger in his eyes. Joseph stood up immediately. Good afternoon, sir. Mr. Bennet frowned. Don't good afternoon me, young man. You have to stay away from my daughter. That's why I'm here. This nonsense has gone too far. Joseph stayed calm. Sir, with all due respect, Diana and I are already married in our hearts. She chose me. I didn't force her. Mr. Bennet leaned closer, his voice low but dangerous. Listen to me carefully. If you don't leave Diana alone, you will be gone forever. And I mean it. You have no idea what I can do. Let her marry someone worthy, a wealthy man, someone from her class. You poor man, leave my daughter alone. Joseph took a deep breath. Sir, I love your daughter. I treat her with respect. I work hard every day to give her a good life. She's not suffering. Mr. Bennet laughed wickedly. Love, foolish man? Is it love my daughter will eat? Will love pay for her hair, her clothes, her comfort? You don't know what life is, Joseph replied. She is not hungry, sir. She wakes up every day with peace in her heart. I have a farm, a poultry, and crops. We eat what we grow. We're fine. Mr. Bennet shook his head with disgust. No, you are not fine. You're poor, and you're dragging my daughter into poverty. Do you know what people are saying about our family? That we allowed our only daughter to run off with a farmer? Do you know the shame you've brought upon me? Joseph looked him in the eye. Sir, I didn't come into Diana's life to shame you. I came to love and protect her. Mr. Bennet got angrier. I don't want your respect. I want you to disappear from her life. Do you think I don't know where you stay? I know everything. I've kept quiet for too long. I'm warning you now. Stay away from her before I use power you cannot imagine. Joseph nodded slowly. You're free to use your power, sir. But I have nothing to fear. I may not be rich like you, but I'm not a criminal. I work hard. I sleep well at night. Mr. Bennet narrowed his eyes. This is your last warning. Don't test me. You don't know what I'm capable of. Then he turned and walked out of the restaurant. That night, Joseph didn't tell Diana about the meeting. He didn't want her to worry, but she noticed his silence. Did something happen today? She asked gently. Joseph smiled weakly. Just a long day. Diana stopped and faced him. Please don't hide things from me. If something's wrong, I need to know. Joseph paused, then said, Your father came to the restaurant today. Diana's eyes widened. What? What did he say? He asked me to leave you. He threatened me. He said I'll be gone forever if I don't disappear from your life. Diana stepped back. He said that to your face? Yes, Joseph nodded. But don't worry. I'm not afraid. I won't leave you, Diana. Not now, not ever. Tears filled her eyes. I'm so sorry. My father doesn't know how good you are. He only sees what you don't have. Joseph held her hand. One day he will see. But even if he never does, I'll keep working, keep growing, keep loving you. Diana hugged him tightly. We're in this together, no matter what they say. The next morning, as Joseph walked to the farm, a black SUV slowed down beside him. The window rolled down, and a man in dark glasses leaned out. You, Joseph? Joseph nodded. Yes, who are you? The man smirked. You'll soon find out. Just remember, when a lion roars, even the wind listens. Then the car sped off, leaving dust behind. Joseph stood still for a moment, then continued walking. He was not afraid, but he was alert now. He knew this was just the beginning of a fight bigger than farming and chickens. He was up against powerful men who thought love was weakness and wealth was everything. Back at the Bennet mansion, Mr. Bennet sat in his home office making phone calls. I want his poultry shut down. Find out if he's registered. Find a way. I want that boy crushed. Yes, sir, the voice replied on the phone. And the land he's farming on. Find out who owns it. I want him out. Madam Stella walked into the room. What are you doing? Mr. Bennet looked up. I'm protecting my daughter from foolishness. No, she said quietly. You're pushing her further away. She'll thank me later, he said. When she's living in comfort, she'll know I did the right thing. She already had comfort, Stella replied. And she left it to be with him. Doesn't that tell you something, Charles? It tells me she's under a spell, and I will break it. It was early morning. The sun had barely risen when Joseph arrived at the edge of his farm and stopped suddenly. His eyes widened, and his heart sank. Thick black smoke filled the air. The ground was covered with ashes. The poultry was gone, the chicken pen had collapsed, and the crops were nothing but burned stems. Flames still danced on a few dry corners. The smell of destruction filled his nose. It was over. He looked around, hoping it was a dream, but it wasn't. The entire farm and poultry were burnt to the ground. The sweat of his hard work, the savings they invested, everything gone. Joseph fell to his knees, staring at the wreckage. Tears streamed down his face. His lips shook as he whispered, Why? Why would someone do this? Without another word, he turned and ran home. When he entered the room, Diana stood up quickly. Joseph, what happened? Why are you crying? Joseph was breathing hard. Diana, the farm. It's gone. What do you mean gone? She asked. Burnt, he whispered. Everything, the poultry, the crops, all of it burnt. Diana screamed. What? Burnt? How? Joseph nodded slowly, his voice weak. Someone did it. It wasn't an accident. Diana's eyes blazed with fury. It's my father. I know that man. Wicked, Heartless. He said he would deal with you, and now he's done this. Let me go and insult the hell out of him. Joseph grabbed her arm. No, Diana, don't go. Let's find a peaceful way. She pulled her arm away. Peaceful? After they destroyed everything we built with our sweat? After they made you cry like this? No, Joseph, I'm not a coward. Let me face that devil. Please, Joseph begged. Don't go and make things worse. Diana turned, her face full of pain and anger. It can't get worse than this. My father wants war? Fine, he'll get it. She stormed out of the house. She reached her father's office building in the city and marched to the front gate. The security man stepped forward immediately. Madam, you can't go in. Get out of my way, she shouted. I'm sorry, but the boss said I should never allow you or your boyfriend to set foot here, he replied. Diana looked him in the eye. So, I'm now banned from my father's office? Yes, madam. Please don't make this hard. Diana turned around. No problem, she said bitterly. I know where to go next. She walked straight to her mother's fashion shop across town. Madame Stella was in her shop when Diana entered. Diana, her mother said in surprise. What are you doing here? Are you okay? Diana folded her arms. I came to say congratulations. You and your husband have done well. Madame Stella blinked. What are you talking about? You wanted to deal with Joseph, right? Well, you finally succeeded. You burned down his farm, his poultry, his only source of income. Everything is gone. Good job, Mom. Go and tell Dad congratulations. He won. Madame Stella stepped forward, shocked. Wait, what? What did you say? Joseph's farm was burnt. Yes. Diana shouted. Completely. He came home crying like a baby this morning. I have never seen him like that. Your husband has destroyed a man who did nothing but love me. Madame Stella held her chest. No. No. Diana, listen to me. Your father said he would deal with him, yes, but not like this. Burning someone's farm? That's not Charles. I don't believe it. Diana laughed painfully. You don't believe it? Then believe this. Tell your wicked husband to stay away from us. He is evil, and I want nothing to do with him. She turned and walked out of the shop, leaving her mother frozen and trembling. Madame Stella didn't move for a long time. Then she picked up her bag and rushed home. When she got to the mansion, she found her husband sitting in the living room reading a newspaper. Charles, she said, her voice cold, did you burn Joseph's farm? Mr. Bennet lowered the newspaper slowly. What did you just say? I said, did you burn Joseph's farm? She repeated. It's all over the place. People are talking. Diana came to my shop crying and shouting. Mr. Bennet sighed. No, I didn't. Yes, I said I would deal with him, but burning his farm? Never. I wouldn't do something so criminal. Madame Stella frowned. But you threatened him. You warned him at that restaurant. He told Diana. I warned him with words, Mr. Bennet said. I was angry. But I didn't send anybody to burn anything. His wife stared at him. I want to believe you. But you're capable of many things, Charles, especially when your pride is wounded. Mr. Bennet looked offended. So you think I'm a monster now? I think you're a man who hates losing. And Diana's love for Joseph has become your greatest loss. Mr. Bennet's face was calm, but inside, his mind was racing. Who would do this if not you? Stella asked. Who else hates Joseph enough to destroy him? Mr. Bennet was silent. Then he said, Jack. What about him? He said he would deal with us. Maybe he found another way. If he couldn't touch us directly, maybe he went after Joseph. Madame Stella gasped. God, if that boy did this. Mr. Bennet turned to his wife. Then we have a bigger problem than we thought. Meanwhile, Diana returned home to find Joseph sitting outside, staring at the sky. She sat beside him quietly. I went to my wicked father, she said. They didn't let me in. I then went to my mother and told her everything so that she can warn her husband to stay away from us. I mean, how could he be so heartless? Joseph didn't respond. I'm so sorry, she continued. I just couldn't keep quiet. I had to speak. Joseph sighed. What if this is just the beginning, Diana? What if more is coming? She touched his hand. Then we'll face it together. Even if we have to start again, we will. Joseph turned to her. Do you still believe in me? With my whole heart, she said. A week had passed since Joseph's poultry and farm were burnt down. The house felt colder. The laughter they once shared had become silence. Joseph was doing his best to stay strong, but Diana could see the pain in his eyes every day. The little savings they had left were almost finished. They were eating once a day, sometimes sharing one plate of food between them. Diana could no longer sit and wait. She had to do something. That morning, she woke up early, sat beside Joseph, and said, I need to find work. You've been carrying everything on your back. Now it's my turn to carry you. Joseph looked up slowly. You don't have to. I want to, she replied. Let me try. I won't sit here and do nothing. Joseph nodded. Just be careful. The world is not kind. She walked from one office to another, smiling politely, asking for opportunities. Some told her there was nothing. Some said they'd call. By afternoon, she arrived at a medium-sized company not far from the main road. She had heard from a neighbor that they sometimes hired office assistants and customer service girls. She waited patiently in the reception area for almost an hour. Finally, the secretary told her to go in. She entered the manager's office and greeted him. Good afternoon, sir. The man behind the desk looked up. He was in his late 40s. He looked at Diana and smiled in a strange way. Good afternoon, he replied. Sit down. She sat quietly. You said you're looking for work, he asked. Yes, sir. He looked her up and down slowly. What position do you want? Anything, sir. I can clean, arrange files, welcome guests, or take calls. I just need a job. I'm a fast learner. The man leaned back in his chair, folding his arms. There's work here, but not just for anybody. Diana sat up. Please, sir, I'm ready to work hard. He smiled again. You see, in this world, to get what you want, sometimes you have to use what you have. She frowned, confused. Sir, I don't understand. He leaned forward. You're a beautiful woman. Very beautiful. I'm sure you know what I mean. Diana's eyes widened slightly. Are you saying I have to sleep with you to get the job? The man laughed. Don't be dramatic. Just be friendly. Make me happy, and I'll take care of you. If not, well, you can keep walking from office to office. Diana stood up slowly. Sir, I came here looking for work, not for shame. I'm not desperate enough to lose my dignity. The man dropped his smile. Then you will keep on searching for a job. Now leave my office, you dirty girl. Diana's face burned with rage. You are the dirty one, wearing a tie and suit but smelling like corruption. Get out, he shouted. She picked up her folder and turned toward the door, then stopped. One day I'll walk past this office as a successful woman, and you'll remember this day. Mark it, he hissed loudly. Get out before I call security. She walked out with her head held high. Outside, the receptionist looked up. How did it go? Diana smiled tightly. Your boss is a goat. Have a nice day. She walked out into the hot sun, blinking back tears. She hadn't cried when her father disowned her, but now she felt like crying, not from pain, but from anger. She bought a bottle of water with the last coin in her purse and sat under a tree beside the road. She looked up at the sky, blinking fast, refusing to let the tears fall. She stared at the passing cars, thinking of Joseph, thinking of their burnt dreams, thinking of everything she had given up, everything they had lost. Suddenly, a black Jeep slowed down and parked in front of her. The door opened slowly, and she heard a familiar voice that made her heart beat faster. Well, well, well. If it isn't the famous Diana Bennett, sitting by the roadside like a beggar, Jack said, stepping out of the car. Diana didn't move. She looked at him, her face expressionless. Jack laughed and walked closer. So, this is what love has done to you. Look at your skin. Look at your clothes. From mansion to street. From class to shame. I can't believe it. Diana frowned. What do you want? I came to help you, he said proudly. I know what you're going through. No money, no food, no job. You followed a farmer into suffering, but I'm here to save you. Save me? She asked. Yes, he said. Come with me. I'll take care of you. I'll put you in a house in Lekki, buy you a car, fly you out if you want. You'll never work again. All I need is for you to say yes. Be my woman. Diana scoffed. You must be sick. Jack smirked. Why? Because I'm telling the truth? Look at yourself. You're finished. But I'm offering you comfort. I'd rather sleep hungry than lie beside a man like you, she said. He laughed loudly. That's your pride talking. Pride doesn't pay rent. Pride doesn't cook food. I'm the best chance you have. Never, she said sharply. You disgust me. His smile dropped. Is it because of that poor goat you call a man? That useless boy, Joseph, the failed doctor-turned-bush farmer. Don't insult him, she warned. I will insult him, Jack shouted. He's a disgrace, and so are you. Your whole family is filled with proud, poor people. Your father begged me to marry you. I gave him money. Your mother smiled in my face like a beggar, but look how you all ended up. Broken. Enough. Diana snapped. You still think he loves you? Jack continued. He's finished. His farm is ashes. His hope is dust. And you're standing under the sun drinking pure water like a street girl. Even my gatekeeper is living better than you. Diana's hand shook, but she didn't move. Are you done? No, he replied. But I'm giving you one last chance. Come with me now. I'll change your life. All I need is your body and silence. That's the deal. Diana stepped forward and slapped him hard across the face. Jack staggered back, shocked. She looked him straight in the eye. I am not for sale. He touched his cheek slowly, then laughed like a madman. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. No, she said. Following Joseph was the best decision I've ever made. He may be poor, but he's real. He doesn't lie. He doesn't burn farms or insult women. You are a fool, Jack. You think you're powerful, but you're empty. He hissed. You'll regret this. I already regret talking to you, she said. Jack turned away, got into his car, and started the engine. Suffer then. You deserve it. Diana said nothing. She watched him drive off in anger. Her body trembled from the heat, the insults, and the shame, but her heart was steady. She had stood her ground. She had kept her pride. 2 days later, Joseph was walking down the road. He had just returned from visiting a friend he once studied medicine with. He went to beg for help, any help, tools, seeds, a small piece of land, anything to start his farm again. But the friend shook his head and said, Joseph, I wish I could help, but things are hard now. I'm struggling too. So, Joseph walked away with empty hands and a heavier heart. He had not eaten that morning. As he walked down the dusty road toward home, he saw something strange. On the corner of the street, just by a cement wall, a man lay motionless on the ground. People passed him, but Joseph stopped. He looked at the man carefully. Something told him this wasn't drunkenness. The man wasn't moving at all. His chest barely rose. Joseph rushed to him, knelt down, and placed 2 fingers on his neck. He felt a weak pulse. Sir, can you hear me? Joseph said, shaking the man gently. There was no reply. Joseph stood up and looked around. Please, somebody help me. This man is not okay. Nobody stopped. Help me carry him. We need to get him to the hospital. Still, nobody moved. Joseph sighed, bent down again, and carried the man on his back. The man was heavy, but Joseph didn't care. He walked as fast as he could to the nearest clinic, breathing hard, his heart pounding. When he got there, the nurses rushed to help him. They took the man inside immediately. Joseph stood outside, catching his breath. After what felt like an hour, the doctor came out. He was a young man with a kind face. You brought him in? The doctor asked. Yes, Joseph said. The doctor smiled. You saved his life. If you hadn't brought him here when you did, he would have been gone in less than 30 minutes. Severe dehydration, low blood sugar, exhaustion. Joseph was shocked. Oh my God! Thank God he's alive. He's stable now, the doctor said. You did the right thing. You may not know it, but today you became a hero. Joseph nodded slowly. I couldn't just leave him there. I saw how people walked past. I couldn't do that. You did well, the doctor said. You really did. Joseph waited for a while, watching the man sleep. He didn't know who the man was. He didn't care. What mattered was that he lived. He left the hospital quietly and walked home. When he got home, Diana was in the room. You look like you fought a war, she said. Joseph sat down and smiled weakly. You won't believe what happened. She listened as he told the story, from the moment he saw the man to carrying him to the hospital and what the doctor said. Diana placed a hand on her chest. Joseph, you carried him on your back? I had to, he said. She smiled. You are a good man. Joseph shrugged. I just did what I hoped someone would do for me. The next morning, Joseph woke up early. He couldn't stop thinking about the man he had rescued the day before. Diana packed a small food flask for him and kissed his forehead. Please check on the man, she said softly. I've been praying all night. I will, Joseph replied. And I'll come back with good news. He walked to the clinic with hope in his heart. When he arrived, the nurse at the front desk smiled and said, Oh, you're here. The old man is awake. Joseph nodded quickly. Thank you. She led him to a private ward at the end of the hall. When Joseph entered, he saw the man sitting up on the hospital bed with a calm smile on his face. Good morning, sir, Joseph greeted. The man looked up. You came back? I was hoping you would. Joseph stepped closer. I wanted to be sure you're okay, sir. The man chuckled. I'm doing better, thanks to you. If you hadn't picked me up, I would have died like a dog on the street. I couldn't walk past you, Joseph said. No human should be left like that. The man asked, What's your name, young man? Joseph. Joseph Emmanuel. The old man smiled. Thank you, Joseph. My name is Chief Edward. Edward Ojo. I'm the CEO of Edward Companies, Edward Oil and Gas, Edward Hospitals, Edward Real Estate. Joseph froze. Wait, what? I know, the man laughed. You've probably heard the name but don't know the face. Joseph's mouth fell open. Edward Ojo. Of course, everyone knew that name. It was on buildings, trucks, clinics. But he never knew the man behind the name. Well, now you do, Chief Edward said gently. I was on my way from a village health inspection. My car broke down. My phone battery died. I thought I could find help. I walked for a while, then collapsed. Everyone passed me. But you picked me up, carried me, saved me. Joseph blinked. I just did what I thought was right. That's what makes it special, Chief Edward replied. You didn't do it for money or reward. You did it with your heart. He looked Joseph up and down. What do you do for work? Joseph took a breath. I'm a trained medical doctor, sir, but after graduation, I couldn't get a job. I tried everything. I sent applications everywhere. I waited for years, so I started farming. I used my hands to survive. Chief Edward nodded slowly. I see. My wife Diana and I started a small poultry and crop farm, but someone burned it down 2 weeks ago. We lost everything. Now we have nothing, sir. The old man's face softened. I'm so sorry, Joseph. That's terrible. Joseph shook his head. It's okay. We're alive. That's what matters. Tell me about your wife, Chief Edward asked. She's my strength, Joseph said. Her name is Diana Bennett. Her parents are rich, but they disowned her because she chose to marry me. Since then, we've lived on our own. We suffer, but we stay together. Chief Edward was quiet for a moment, then nodded. You are a good man, Joseph, a rare kind. And your woman is a queen. Thank you, sir, Joseph said humbly. The doctor entered the room. Sir, your vitals are good. You can be discharged tomorrow. Chief Edward smiled. Wonderful. Thank you, doctor. He turned to Joseph. Joseph, I want to see you and your wife at my house this weekend. I have something for you both. Joseph's eyes widened. Sir, thank you. Thank you so much. We will be there. I'm just happy you're alive, sir. That's the real blessing. Chief Edward nodded. And I'm happy God sent you to me. Joseph left the hospital filled with joy. He walked home faster than he had in days. When he reached the house, Diana came running to meet him. What happened? She asked quickly. He held her hands tightly, his eyes shining with excitement. Diana, do you know who that old man is? She shook her head. He's Chief Edward, the CEO of Edward Oil and Gas, Edward Hospitals, Edward Everything. Diana's jaw dropped. What? Yes. Joseph laughed. He owns half the companies in this state. He said if I hadn't helped him, he would have died. And now he wants us to come to his house this weekend. Diana was speechless. You're serious? Completely, Joseph said. She covered her mouth. Oh my God. Joseph pulled her into a hug. Everything is changing. I can feel it. The weekend came, and Joseph and Diana sat in the large living room beside Chief Edward, who smiled warmly as he welcomed them again. They had just finished eating when Chief Edward stood up and said, Let's go. I want to show you something. They followed him quietly. A black SUV was already waiting outside. They entered the car and drove for about 15 minutes until they reached a beautiful new building. The compound was clean and large. The sign at the front read, Edward Memorial Hospital. Joseph looked at the building, shocked. This hospital is beautiful. Chief Edward smiled. Yes, it was completed just last month. Everything inside is working, fully equipped, and ready to open. Joseph nodded slowly. This is amazing, sir. Edward turned to him. This hospital is now yours. Joseph looked at him, confused. Sir. Edward handed him a bunch of keys. It's all yours. The hospital, the equipment, the land, everything. I'm giving it to you. Joseph froze. Diana gasped. They both looked at the old man in disbelief. You saved my life, Joseph, Edward continued. If not for you, I would be dead by now. I collapsed by the road like an abandoned dog. People passed me. Nobody helped. But you stopped. You carried me on your back. You brought me to the hospital. You didn't know who I was. You didn't expect anything. That's why I'm doing this. Joseph couldn't speak. His hands shook as he looked down at the keys. Edward smiled. I've built businesses. I have money, houses, cars. But if I had died that day, I wouldn't have taken any of these things with me. You saved me. You gave me another chance to live. I won't forget that. Joseph finally found his voice. Sir, this is too much. No, it's not, Edward said. This is how I say thank you. This hospital needs someone with a good heart, someone who cares about people. I want you to run it. Use your training. Use your kindness. Save lives. Diana had tears in her eyes. Sir, thank you. Thank you so much. Edward nodded. You deserve it, both of you. You've suffered enough. Joseph looked at the building again. From nothing to this. I don't know how to thank you. You've already thanked me, Edward replied. You saved my life. That was more than enough. He looked at Joseph again. I also want you to meet the staff officially on Monday. They're waiting. From now on, you are the hospital director. Joseph held the keys tightly. Thank you, sir. I'm not done yet, Edward added. You can't run a hospital and still live in a one-room house. There's a small estate near here. I've arranged a house for you and your wife. The papers will be ready by next week. Diana covered her mouth. Sir. Edward laughed. Don't cry. Smile. You both have earned this. 2 days later, Diana's mother sat at the edge of the bed, staring at her husband, who was reading through his company's financial reports. His face was hard, his mood cold. Charles, she said quietly, I heard something today. He didn't look up. I'm not in the mood. It's about Diana and that boy. He sighed. What about them now? They said Joseph now owns a hospital. A brand new hospital. Someone said he is the new director of Edward Memorial Hospital. Mr. Bennet looked up slowly, frowning. What kind of nonsense are you talking about? It's true, she said. I spoke to the wife of a nurse who works there. She said it was on the news in some places. Joseph Emanuel is now the owner. It was gifted to him by Chief Edward. Mr. Bennet scoffed. That's a lie. That boy can never make it in this life. He's a weakling, a dreamer, useless. Don't bring me such rubbish news. Why is it so hard for you to believe he succeeded? She asked. Because he has nothing in his blood. Mr. Bennet shouted. No background, no money, no strength. I told Diana long ago. That boy was born to suffer. Madame Stella stood up. Yet he's the one saving lives while you are here, angry that your business is collapsing. Woman, leave me alone, he said bitterly. I'm not in a good mood. My business is shaking. My investors are pulling out. Everything is falling. As he stood up from his seat to get some water, his phone rang. He picked it up. What? Which warehouse? His eyes widened. Fire? How? When? He dropped the phone, his hands beginning to shake. His chest tightened, and he held the edge of the table. Charles! Madame Stella shouted as he collapsed. Charles! She screamed and rushed to him. His eyes rolled back, his mouth was stiff, and his chest was no longer moving properly. She shouted for the driver. Get the car! He's not breathing. They rushed him to the first hospital. The nurse at the gate said, We don't have emergency equipment. We're full. Try another one. She screamed at the driver to go to the next one. At the second hospital, a security guard shook his head. No space, no doctor on duty. Please try another hospital. The driver turned and asked, Where to now, madam? Madame Stella cried, holding her husband's cold hand. She suddenly remembered. Joseph's Hospital. Edward Memorial. Go there now. They rushed down the road. It was night already. They arrived at the hospital and rushed Mr. Bennet into the emergency room. Joseph got to work immediately. Diana's mother stood outside, crying. He's stable now, Joseph said. It was a mild cardiac arrest, but we caught it in time. Madame Stella fell to her knees. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. You saved him. Joseph nodded. I had to. Diana's mother cried louder. All the hospitals rejected us, but the one he hated became our only hope. He smiled gently. That's life. 4 days passed. Mr. Bennet slowly opened his eyes in a private ward. Madame Stella rushed to him. You're awake. Thank God. He blinked. Where am I? You're at Edward Memorial Hospital. He frowned. How did we get here? She sighed. Charles, the doctor who saved your life is Joseph. He was shocked. What? Joseph? The same boy you never liked? The one you insulted? He's the one who gave you oxygen when you were fading. Mr. Bennet was ashamed of himself. I should have helped him, he said softly. I should have invested in him. I should have believed in him. You still have a chance, his wife said. He will definitely forgive you. Later that evening, Joseph entered the room. Mr. Bennet looked at him. I don't know what to say, Mr. Bennet whispered. You don't need to say much, Joseph replied. I'm just happy you're alive. I wronged you, Mr. Bennet said. I judged you. I mocked you. I stood in the way of your happiness. Joseph nodded. Yes, you did. But I forgave you a long time ago. Mr. Bennet smiled weakly. You are a better man than I will ever be. Joseph shook his head. We all grow with time. Mr. Bennet swallowed hard. It's only Diana. I don't think she will ever forgive me. Joseph smiled. Don't worry, sir. She's my woman. I know how to talk to her. She will listen to me. A week had now passed since Mr. Bennet returned home from the hospital. He was sitting in the living room, his mind finally at peace. He had survived a heart attack, but more than that, he had survived his own pride. For once, he was not thinking about business or money. He was thinking about family, about mistakes, about second chances. The door opened gently. Diana walked in, stood before him, and smiled. "Daddy," she said softly. He looked up, his eyes filled with emotion. "Diana, I forgive you," she said. "We are family. No matter what happened, I forgive you." Mr. Bennet held her hands. "I missed you so much. I've been waiting for this moment." "I missed you too, Daddy," she said. He nodded. "Joseph can now come and marry you properly. You both have my blessing." Diana screamed with joy and hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Daddy. Thank you so much." He smiled as he held her. "Thank you, and thank my son-in-law for forgiving me after everything I did to you both." 2 weeks later, the news was everywhere. Social media, newspapers, even the radio. Diana Bennet and the love of her life were getting married. But somewhere far away, someone was not happy. Jack sat alone in his dark apartment, reading the announcement. "Diana Bennet and Dr. Joseph Emmanuel are getting married." "Never!" he shouted. "That will not happen. Not over my dead body." He stood up, opened a wooden drawer, and brought out a loaded gun. "If Mr. Charles could reject me and now accept that ugly, poor, roadside village doctor, then he's not fit to live." He got into his car, his mind boiling, his hands shaking as he drove. He pressed the accelerator hard, speeding, swerving, screaming in madness. As he approached the main highway leading to Mr. Bennet's estate, his car lost control. The tires slipped. The car spun 3 times and crashed violently into a container truck. The sound of crushing metal echoed in the air. People screamed. By the time help came, it was too late. Jack was dead on the spot. The news spread quickly. Breaking news. Businessman Jack Okoro dies in a ghastly motor accident. Gun found in vehicle. Mr. Charles heard the news and sat in silence. "That boy was possessed by hate," Madame Stella said. "He brought it on himself." Joseph and Diana kept quiet. They didn't celebrate his end. They simply said, "Let peace be upon his soul." A week later, the sun shined brighter than it had in months. The church was filled with joy. Joseph and Diana stood before the altar, holding hands, smiling through tears. "I, Diana, take you, Joseph, to be my husband. I, Joseph, take you, Diana, to be my wife." Cheers echoed. Applause shook the building. The pastor blessed them. When they kissed, the hall exploded with joy. Outside, Mr. Charles stood proudly beside his wife, shaking hands with guests. For once, he wasn't ashamed. He was proud. "Dr. Joseph Emmanuel," he said loudly, "is my son-in-law." The reception was full of dancing, food, laughter, and happiness. Even people who once mocked Joseph were now clapping for him. That evening, as the stars shone brightly, Joseph and Diana sat quietly on the balcony of their new house. They looked up at the sky, holding hands. "We made it," Diana whispered. "Yes," Joseph replied. "Love one." Just then, a knock came at the gate. Joseph stood and walked outside. It was Chief Edward, smiling. "I couldn't miss the celebration," he said. Joseph hugged him with respect. "Sir, you gave me the chance to become who I am today." Edward smiled. "And you didn't waste it. You made me proud, son." He joined them on the balcony. They talked, laughed, and shared memories. As they raised their glasses of fruit juice, Chief Edward said, "To love, to second chances, and to the power of doing good." They all smiled. Joseph held Diana's hand, and they lived happily ever after. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching, and stay blessed.